Oh look, he's starting with a hand slam. Should probably dodge this. Hello everybody, it's me, Farham, and we are here with the Invoker on Path of Exile 2. We have got an endgame tier 4 boss killing Invoker build. Now, I'm not going to say it's the fastest boss killer because that would be a complete lie, but the clear is really, really satisfying, and it can do the tier 4 bosses in what I think is a reasonably hilarious way. Now, full build guide is in the description, so do check that out if you want. We're going to go over all of the passives, the gear, a bit about how it works, and I'm going to showcase it on a tier 15 map, pretty juiced up, Xesht and King of the Mists. I do hope you enjoy this one, guys. If you do, consider hitting that like button. It really helps. The algorithm loves it. I love it. Everyone loves it. But let's get on and showcase this build. So before we start diving into the passives, let's give a little word about what this build actually is, what we're trying to achieve with it. So, GGG, nerf the bell. The bell's basically gone as a one-hit ability. Flicker strikes back, and there's a couple of other things on the monk tree that you can do one-hits with, but I really enjoyed the feeling of the bell last league, really enjoyed the feeling of Ice Strike, wanted to bring those back in a way that they were competent through the endgame. Another thing that was taken out was the proliferation of Heralds, so Heralds cannot chain Heralds. We've come up with a way that gives you a sort of pulsing chain of Herald explosions that go out as well by linking that with another skill. So what we're trying to do is bring back that feeling of the League 1 monk, certainly in sound, if not in boss killing speed. That's very hard to do now. In fact, it's impossible. So what, I think it is. It feels very impossible. So what we're trying to do instead is be able to just stand there. So boosting our shield as high as it needs to be to deal with every boss mechanic, and then just heal ourselves up through massive amounts of energy shield leech by boosting what is now good on the bell, which is physical damage, and then using that just to bounce our health back up, bounce our mana back up, while just spamming comets to get as much damage as we can. So that's kind of the idea behind the build. In clear, it's super fast, it's super satisfying, it just like chains out all these like beautiful lightning nova explosions, which then cool down all the heralds. And in bosses, it's kind of funny, but you can't really see much. So that's a bit of a foreword about the build. We're going to jump in on the passives. So here he is, our flexible boy, the Invoker. Starting off with the Ascendancies, we are an Invoker. I am the Thunder, and I am the Blizzard for the extra damage. We don't need And I Shall Rage. Lead me through grace. This is how we get our Spirit. The Spirit requirement on this build is 210 without precision, or 220 with it. I like to have precision because it helps with a number of things, but lead me through grace. We'll talk about the chest piece in the gear section and what you need to hit there on the energy shield requirements. And Sunder my enemies, we're critting all the time, so this makes us not need to worry about pen. Looking at the tree, it's quite frankly absolutely beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So there we go. But what are we focusing on? We're focusing on tank. You will see later in the showcases that this number here is reasonably important, and we're trying to squeeze as much damage as we can alongside that. If you check the written guide, I talk about some optionalities about what to do if you can't afford things like the Time Lost Sapphire and the Time Lost Emerald. It shouldn't affect your mapping too much. I just argue that you need around these numbers to do the tier 4 bossing the same way I'm going to show in the showcases. So, on the tree, we're grabbing Mindful Awareness around to Essence of the Mountain. Coming, of course, through Flow Like Water, focusing on the crit bonus side. Flow State and Crashing Wave for more crit damage. For more damage when we crit. We're coming around and grabbing Shimmering for the extra movement speed, because I like to move fast. As much energy shield as we can. I'll be filling that out to that point on the next level. That's just personal preference. I want to get to 10k shield on this build. We're taking the Elemental Wheel. We are chilling, we are shocking, and we are igniting. So this is 90% elemental damage. Crit chance. We need crit chance. We need to get to 100% crit on, certainly on our Ice Strike or Tempest Flurry, depending on what builds you're running. What content you're doing. And we need to get as high as we can on the bell and comets as well. We're grabbing Melding and Insightfulness. We don't actually need max mana. We're fine with how we've got things set up, so we can take that reduced max mana. Maximum energy shield is what we want. More max energy shield round to dampening shield, and then pure energy. As we come to the middle here, we've grabbed a Time Lost Sapphire. Now the important line on here is the crit chance. That really is the important line. If you get crit chance and crit damage bonus, that's great, and then any other 2 nodes that you can afford. These things typically range from anywhere between 10 and 200 divines, depending on how well rolled they are and how good the other skills are. But if you search for just crit chance, that will get you going. Then we're filling out to make the most of the crit chance. So Stylebender, the physical damage really helps our leech. We're a leech-based class, so we take loads of damage and we just heal it back. only fizz damage leeches with the Invoker, so Stylebender's pretty good. Spellblade is there to boost our Comet damage. Killer Instinct is a nice damage node, and it just gets boosted from the Sapphire. Same tenfold attacks isn't so great, but it gets boosted by the Sapphire, so we grab it. Immortal Thirst is reasonably important, gives a bit more energy shield and more amount of mana leech. This is important. We've got a tiny mana pool that just bounces up and down, up and down, up and down. Then we grab some crit nodes, True Strike for the Jugular and Deadly Force. We grab Eternal Youth so that we can use our health flask just to help keep us topped up in the really, really dangerous mechanics that we stand and face tank, just to heal us up for whatever's coming next. And then we go up and round. We don't take too much outside of this. This is like most of our points, really. But we go up, we grab Chaos Inoculation, so we're Chaos Immune. Careful Assassin for more crit chance. Patient Barrier, 60% energy shield. We don't care about the slower start of energy shield recharge because we're Eternal Youth. We come down, we grab the Quarterstaff nodes up to one with the River. Whirling Assault's kind of annoying, but one with the River and the extra freeze is really, really good, especially for mapping and proliferating out those huge explosions that you're going to see in the mapping showcase. Martial Artistry, and then some Quarterstaff Crit Strike chance nodes. Got another Time Lost Emerald here, again with that crit chance and crit bonus. Crit chance is the important one. You get the crit bonus, another 2 nodes, that's great. Again, these things range a lot in price. This is where you can sink quite a lot of late investment into the build. And then we get the crit diamond here, Heartbreaking, Struck Through, and Heart Stopping. That is the tree. We're focused primarily on tank with crit to make sure that we've got cast on crit to cast our comets so that we do some damage in single target, because GGG, they came at the bell. They didn't just chip away at it, right? They like melted it down and then sold it for scrap. That's what they did to the bell, but we're going to use it. We're going to make it work. Speaking of, let's take a quick look at the skills. So we're running 220 spirit. Most of that is, but it's all in use. Starting off with Mana Remnants. This is running with Interlude and Dissipate, giving us an extra 60% between those 2 gems. This results in us getting, I think, somewhere around 330 mana, 370 mana per remnant, which can overflow, so we can have a total mana of double this. So it's somewhere close to what? 1,726 mana we can overflow to, which is pretty nice, considering we've only got a base of 863. Herald of Thunder. So this has got Embitter, Ice Bite, Glaciation, Cold Infusion, and Lightning Mastery. Its job is to freeze. Then we've got Herald of Ice. It's got Lightning Infusion, Innovate, Immolate, Conduction, and Cold Mastery. Its job is to shock. Just like Season 1. Herald of Ice should proc the Thunder, which procs the Ice, but they stopped that interaction happening. But that's okay. We're just going to have both of them running. Next up, we got Temper Spell. So this is what we're using to keep ourselves alive. We check out the actual raw stats on this. We got 37.67% mana leech and 27.69 nice percent energy shield leech. That's converted from our gloves, which we'll cover in the gear sections. This is running Soul Thief, Life Thief, Heft, Overabundance, and Heavy Swing. Why Heft and Overabundance? Well, only physical damage leeches, and we're trying to get this fizz damage here, these fizz damage numbers as high as we can. Oh look, 2969. Nice. Didn't know that came up twice. Wind Dancer. This has got precision, because we want to run precision. This helps you break evasive mobs. You can actually not run this and still be accuracy capped, so if you're having spirit problems, you can drop that. Close Combat and Elemental Focus. It just does a load of damage. If something hits me, they explode. It's nice. Next up, we got Ice Strike. So Ice Strike just feels great. That's why we're using it. It's really fun for mapping. It's got Martial Tempo, Overextend, Rage, Primal Armament, and Pinpoint Critical. Why Pinpoint Critical? Well, this gets us to 100% crit chance, which helps for our Comet spam later, and I'm too lazy to swap the gem to something better for mapping, because we don't need to. Next up, we got Herald of Ash. We are a triple Herald build, of course. This is running Fire Mastery and Persistence. Next up, we got Cast on Freeze. This is running Voltaic Mark, which you'll see in the maps. This is how we proliferate. So Voltaic Mark can proc the Heralds, and then everything sort of explodes, and then the Heralds proc the marks, and then the marks, and then it like causes this wave effect. It's really good. Magnified Effect, Inspiration, Impetus, and Energy Retention. Although I believe we're probably at the stage where we could maybe not even run Impetus and put even more area or even more damage on this. And similarly, I think we might be able to do something similar on Cast on Crit. This is how you'd be set up for maps. Quick costume change, and I'll show you how it looks for bosses. Costume change complete, and here we are. We've got Tempest Flurry in place of Ice Strike. Why is that? Well, because it has more attack range, which means melee strike range, which means it can more reliably hit the bell, and it causing more crits, which causes more comets, results in more damage more consistently. We've got exactly the same supports in there. Herald of Ash and Cast on Freeze are now off. We've taken the last 3 supports from Cast on Freeze and put them in Cast on Crit. That's now running our Comet, Concentrated Effect, Inspiration, Impetus, and Energy Retention. Again, I think we might be at the point where we don't need to run Inspiration. We can put more damage on this, but that's a little bit of science. Maybe you guys can do yourselves. That's the end of the skills. Let's talk about this gear. One thing didn't cover off in the gems section, but it's kind of gear, kind of gems. It's the crossover, right? The Megalomaniac. Goring is really, really good. It is down here on the tree. There's no chance you're pathing to it. It gives 40% fizz damage, 5% reduced max life, which we don't care about because we're CI, and 30% increased amount of life leached. They are really, really good defensively. I would recommend getting Goring paired with something. If you're lucky, you want to get it paired with something that can give you extra energy shield. I was quite lucky and managed to get a Spiral into Depression. Not a sentence you hear often, but yeah, try and get a Megalomaniac with Goring. They are very, very, very good for this build. I had a couple of people test out other ones, and Goring came out on top. So Bloodthirsty was tested. Not actually as good as Goring, it seems. I think at the 40% fizz really helps with the belt. On the other slots, let's take a look. So Gotcha, it's not really a Pillar of the Cage Gods. It's just a well-rolled quarterstaff. Not even really that well-rolled, but you want high fizz damage with high crit chance. They're your 2 main ones. If you can get some fizz damage as mana here, that's quite nice too, or fizz damage as life. That's very, very important for the build. Very, very important, as you'll see as we come to the rings. On your helmet, you want to get as much energy shield as you can, and your resistances, preferably some crit chance too. On your amulet, I'm using this as a stat stick. The spirit's completely wasted. The life's completely wasted. You will be allocating Subterfuge Mask with that. One of the main reasons you want really high energy shield on this slot. Get stats, get resistances, get what you need. If you can get high percent energy shield, high base energy shield, that's going to be really, really good on the next slot. On the chest, you're going to need at least 960 spirit to fit everything with precision. I believe 880 spirit. Yep. If you drop precision, because precision costs 10, and you get 8 per... You get 1 per 8 energy shield. So you can fit it with an 880 if you really, really want to, but I would suggest going for a 960 at least on your energy shield and fitting precision. On your rings, you want flat damages, resistances if you need them, but what you really want to fit on there is Leech. Leech Fizz attack has life and mana. If you can get both, that's great. Triple damages, Fizz attacks, what resistances you need, but the Leech, if you can get it, really, really important. On the gloves, this is the only unique that's required for the build. You want the Essentia Sanguis. Converts your life leech to energy shield leech. It's how we stay alive. It's really, really important. They're actually not bad gloves as well. All the stats are actually useful, which is quite rare. So they're quite nice. On your boots, you want high energy shield with as much move speed as you can. Preferably 35% is my preference. If you don't mind running slower, then you can obviously take slower and probably get yourself some real bargain boots with high ES. These are not high ES. High ES is like 250, 300 plus. That'll get you up to closer to the 10k mark. So that's what you want to be looking for. And on the belt, the best belt's an Ingenuity. You could arguably use a Headhunter for mapping as well. Just make sure you don't get one with increased charm charges used, because it'll make it really hard to use a Thawing Charm. And getting frozen on this build sucks. The Melting Maelstrom, actually, it says 360 mana over 10.3 seconds, which you think should be like 30 mana a second. But if I press the button, it's actually... Oh, it is 30. Oh, good. That's fine. So, you don't really need the Mana Flask. I just use one of these and tap it just for a slight increase in mana, but honestly, you don't really need it. But it does give you a fun purple glow. You can use whatever mana potion. This one's probably going to be the cheapest. So just get one of those. On a life potion, you just want an increased amount recovered, if you can. As much of it as you can, so that you can actually make a dent in this shield when you press it. That's really it on the gear. Alright, let's get this thing showcased in a map then. So we've got a pretty nice map. It's got some pack size on it. More rare monsters, additional modifiers. Elemental resistance, faster monsters. We'll take it to this Sandspit, which has got Breach, Delirium, which won't get taken into effect because of our Delirium modifiers, and Radiated. It's got a bunch of quantity on it. Let's see if we have an interesting map. Show you how this thing clears. Mapping, definitely its strength. It's not really designed for tier 4 bossing. It can do that, and we will of course showcase that. What it is designed for is big chain explosions of enemies. Which, when we find the breach, hopefully we'll see. It's also... And then there's the breach. Fantastic. Let's get that open. More monsters, please. Ooh, a heavy belt. Lovely. Just what we always wanted. You can see the chain explosions proliferating out. Mana staying topped right up. Probably going to have to go the other way by the looks of it. We might be able to get around. No problem, just slaughtering rares. This loop round. There's got to be a connecting bit, right? Leave. If not. No. Damn you, Sandspit. Oh, well, I'll loot it after. There's probably going to be quite a lot to run back and loot. What have we got on the quantity? 111% quantity. It's not bad. Only we had a rarity stacker with us. Boom. Oh, that was our only breach too. An exalt. Hooray. A chorb. God. Gotta get that. Can't leave a chorb behind. You can't do an Elon. No chorbs left behind, guys. That's our motto. A little teleport of Ice Strike definitely makes up a little bit for the movement speed. Yeah, if you ever need to heal a bit, you can just honk down the bell. As long as it actually hits stuff, you should heal. But if everything's already dead, then it doesn't do so well. Unfortunately, things sort of explode and die too easily. I mean, the enemies are 61% faster, or 64% faster than they should be. But there you go. Map complete. Hardly even used a potion. Just hit stuff with Ice Strike. It all explodes. It's great. Let's show this thing off in a show it off. Let's show you how it does Tier 4 bossing. Alright. Tier 4 Xesht. Wonder if this will take as long as the map. Well, we'll just grab this loot. We should be fine. And then I'll show you guys the skill swaps that you want to do. Certainly for... if you're going to try bossing on this. So, can't run Cast on Freeze and Cast on Crit at the same time, Spirit requirements. So we turn off Herald of Ash and Cast on Freeze. Herald of Ash gives us the lowest amount of damage from Coming Calamity, hence that one. Skill Gem swaps, Inspiration, Impetus, Energy Retention. Then this one's optional. It kind of helps if you're a bit lower Energy Shield and you need a bit more Leech and you're a bit scared. So Tempest Flurry doesn't convert quite as much Fizz damage to the Elementals, and therefore you can get a little bit more Leech and a little bit higher top Fizz damage from Tempest Flurry, as well as it having extra melee strike range, which really does help it hit the bell better. So, here you go, we've got 800, I think the top end on Ice Strike somewhere around 500, so we get a little bit more on the Leech there. We want to make sure we actually turn on Cast on Crit, or this won't go very well. And now I'll show you how it kills Xesht. Yeah, I've heard this one before, man. So 330 he's become active. Oh look, he's starting with a hand slam. Should probably dodge this. Contract's annoying. Uh-oh. I don't want to save your potions when he's frozen you and the hands are up. So I'm not going to say it's my fastest session kill ever, because I think that would be a lie. But there he goes. I also have the Comet set on spamming. You can have concentrate effect, does a bit more damage. He dies actually about 10 seconds faster, but I think it's funnier to cover the whole screen in Comet. And that's how it kills bosses. It's, oh look! Handies, let's have a look at them. Ooh, hands, ooh, hand for... Oh, they're quite nice. They roll quite high. 20s on both. Lovely job. Well, that's bossing. And that's probably... now, let's... maybe we'll do a quick look at King of the Mists, right? See how that goes. Alright, we're going to try King of the Mists. That wasn't a portal disappearing or anything. And I'm not using Conk Effect now instead of Spell Cascade. I think maybe Spell Cascade, however funny, like, extra damage. It might help on some fights. One's got a bit of a soft enrage. Now you see the comets do quite a bit more damage. Shadow Realm soon, please. Put him in the next space, because he stands still, sort of dancing around like this. Off to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, so Conk Effect does a lot more damage on the comments. We were messing around with Spell Cascade on stream last night. It was funny, but it suggests the more damage is better. But we're crying out for it at every turn. Come on, Kingy. Over here. I just gotta stand with the frogs, though. Avoid a little bit of damage. And there you go. It's a close one. You have to dodge a few attacks, but you can mostly just stand there and wail on him. But yeah, definitely use Conk Effect. Otherwise he summons 2 of those tornadoes. And when 2 of those tornadoes come up, if you can't beat that, then you won't kill it on tier 4, because they will outdamage this regen. That is the learnings on King of the Mist. And that's the showcase, guys. I'm not going to try this thing on Arbiter. I can't dodge any of the attacks because I have massive skill issues. But if you have enjoyed this build showcase and build guide, don't forget the Mobalytics link is in the description. And maybe hit that like and subscribe button as well. That'd be awesome. And I will catch you in the next video. Have a good one. And for those interested, yes, it was shoes.